Welcome to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and today we have a wonderful episode scheduled. We actually going on our 59th episode, super pumped, super ecstatic. Today's actual title is called Lost Without Coordinates, right? Lost Without Coordinates. That is what we're talking about today. Being lost, La La Land, Wonderland, wandering, drifting, all of those things that encompass being lost. We're talking about that today. But before we get started, we have to give a big kudos and shout out to our moderator. I would love for her to say something herself. What's up, Lizzie?
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. I hope everybody's doing good. We've been having some technical difficulties, but we at it. It doesn't mean you got to stop. Just a little error means you got to keep going and finding ways to keep going. That's it. But I want to thank everybody for being out here, and I hope you're comfortable and ready for the show.
Yes, we are tapped in. Must mention, we definitely had some technical difficulties. We are working the kinks out, but we figured out another solution. We're just gonna pre-record. We're gonna record actually without doing it live because we always do our podcast live, but we're gonna implement some new things because we have conversed about it and we said, you know what, let's be more effective. Of course, we've been running into some issues as of lately, and we have to come to our thinking brain and problem solve. We said, well, what can we possibly do in order to fix this issue? So we came out with some ways and some solutions to actually remedy this issue. So we have some things in the works. Give it another episode or two, it will be in full effect. Let's share the news, right? Why would we do that? So we're actually gonna do the pre-recorded, right? Still going live. Maybe do well, we're going live every Thursday continuously. What we also going to do is we're going to have pre-recordeds that release earlier. So instead of waiting till Thursday, episode is going to release Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days. We haven't figured out the exact day yet, but it will release earlier during the week, which I think is super dope. So we have one episode in advance playing earlier during the week, and then we still be going live for all of our loved ones that want to tap in real time. So we still have the live action. So we're not going away with the live. We're still doing the live, but we also gonna have pre-recorded content to where we be able to do more things, more flexibility to be able to add more higher quality um, content. So that's what we're going to do. We're super gracious, super thankful, and we appreciate you guys just sticking it out with us. We're on our 59th. We're not going anywhere. We're on our 59th episode. I was about to say going on 59th, but we are actually in real time pursuing the 59th episode, which I'm super dope, which I'm super proud, which is super dope, pumped, everything else that encompasses being able to put the work in. And ideally, this is the beauty of having those moments where you sit back and reflect and say, man, I went through some troubling times, but we actually have made it out. Last week we had some troubling times. We attempted what eight times, starting, restarting, calling on the phone with some tech people, make sure the software, everything is updated. We did a bunch of things on our note, and it just happened to work out to where we had to do a pre-recorded. It worked out very well. Super pumped for that. This week we ran into same similar issues. Don't know what the issues are. Just so happens that when we are starting our live, mysteriously, full fledged, we have all everything on our other note. As far as when it comes to service, when it comes to Wi-Fi, we come all of these things. We hardwired in, Ethernet cables, all these other things, which makes the service that much better. Running A1, right? Everything's looking very up to speed, etc. Still having some of these issues. So we still got to figure those things out. We said last time we had tested it to some of the energies, unwanted energy that's in the building. So we shoot them away. But things happen. So if that is the same scenario, we're going to get through it because the energy that we have is bigger than that energy, right? We are bigger than the problem. So ideally, no matter what situations that we come up against and face, we be able to uprise and overcome and achieve because we are doers. We are people that's going to be resilient throughout the process. And I thank you guys continuously by your diligence, by your support, by your efforts. All of these things count because there are people that's continuously tapping in the midst of us having these difficulties. And I just want to give you guys another round of applause because it's important, right? Let's do that. Round of applause for you guys out there in real time. You guys are showing up like champions. Yes, yes. So today's episode is Lost Without Coordinates. Let's jump right into it. Before we do that though, we got to do a fit check. It's mandatory that we do the fit check. So as you can see, your boy, none other, right here got the nice gray, stone gray, cement gray brim on, right? This is a mesh hat right here, snapback. You got the snap on the back. On the front of it, as you can see, we have the uh enamel pins of the respectfully great brand, which is our brand. Super pump, super dope. This is some fly SHIT. None other. Why are we going with that aesthetic? How can we lose out on putting on some more respectfully great attire? So as you can see, if you raise it to the left or the right, you see that good old logo on that gray respectfully great world tour. I'm gonna move this out of the way for a little bit. See if you see it like such. How about right here? You see that nice old thing right there? Respectfully great logo. Good embroidery. The mic. Good embroidery. Classic, great stitching. Shout out to the folks over there doing a thing when it comes to embroidery, screen print, etc. Then we go to the wristwear. Hello. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got a good bracelet on, good silver thing right here. I think this right here matches the aesthetic, matches the fly. Feeling good. We always worry about time, right? Sometimes people say, I don't worry about the time, but we conscientious of the time. Sometimes we're gonna apply the time. Sometimes we say we're gonna, do without the time. But ideally, time waits for no man or woman, right? But we're going to reflect in that same aspect and recognize that time is very, very powerful. And we're going to utilize it to our advantage. So here, none other, we got the good old G-Shock watch ring, as you can see. Fireini, good old yellow thing, right? Fire. Hello. We in the building, man. Yes, yes, we are pumped. You know what? Let me ask from Lizzie. Lizzie, what type of vibe you on tonight? What type of attire do you got on today?
Today I'm here sitting on the couch, rocking my none other but comfy clothes and my PJs, which gives you the cool, comfy vibes with the blanket, listening in to the good, what I call it, the good rhythm, the good, what's that perfect word for it?
The good
Good
sounds, rhythm,
teachings
good
that are about to
teachings. Oh,
learn.
I like that. Teachings. See, right here is a brainstorming environment. This right here is an environment where we just come together as a collective and we share our minds. So ideally, that right there alone, Lizzie, I love how you just put that in perfect context. Right here for the teachings. We are here learning and growing together. We are going to be taught. See, it's not about us that's just moderating and speaking. We're learning from each other. So when we say teachings, it's a fellowship, it's a brainstorming environment. It's a think tank. Ideally, together is what we're doing. We are thinking because we know thinking is one of the things that most people don't do. One of the hardest things that most people don't do, which is think. So when we come together and we're able to share our minds, that's when the thinking actually is going into to manifestation. The thinking is actually happening. And then from there, we be able to come up with great and bright ideas in order to change our lives for the better. And we can see some of the things, some of the pitfalls from one another. We say, you know what, damn, went down that hole, or I went down this rabbit hole. And then now I find myself being in a compromising position. But we could take stories from Elizabeth and hear her testimony, and that will be impactful because we learn some things that we were just unaware of. Same thing, you hear another personnel testimony out there that's in the real world, that's in the chat, and he telling us their stories and he giving us their experiences. Super impactful. The why is impactful. Everybody's story has a connection to some person, some experience, somewhere in the ether, in the ethos. There's going to be a message behind it, and it's whether or not that we want to listen to or follow the path, or she say, you know what, this is a learning curve. You know what, let me I want to interject. Once I get here, I'm in that space, I'm moving and grooving, right? But today I want to give a big shout out to this older gentleman. When I was riding the train, I'm on the train doing my thing, right? And I bumped into older gentleman. His name was Lou. And Lou was we was laughing together because we were talking, and he was just telling me that he had missed a stop. So he missed a stop. I got to give context to the story to let you know what's going on. He had missed a stop, and he was off a little bit, maybe like 2 or 3 stops away from where he needed to stop at. So I said, "Cool, no worry about it. Get off here, and I'll be able to guide you back to where you need to go." So Lou said, "Okay, no problem." So we get off the train, and he said, "Yo, don't worry, don't mind me. They call me Mr. Shuffles." So I'm laughing. I said, "Why do you call me Shuffles?" Because actually he has his feet, like he has some issues with his feet, so he shuffled along. He's an older gentleman. So to remind you, he's just up in age. He's shuffling along by himself, and he's trying to make it to where he need to get to. So he tells me that he has a doctor appointment today, which is for his eyes. So he said he like 75%, almost blind, no glasses on, none of these things. But I'm watching and I'm listening to him. He's moving by himself. And I said, man, the spirit of this man is unmatched. Early on the train, I noticed him because he had said something to the lady clicking the ticket lady, and the ticket lady went to him and they talked, they conversed for a quick second, and then at that he said you have a what did he tell her? He told her, um, he said, I love your the word I'm looking for assertiveness, like reassurance, just confidence. That's what he said. He said, I love your confidence. And he tells the ticket lady, I love your confidence. So that stuck out to me. Now, before we even converse, this is after the fact. That me and him talked as he trying to figure out where he trying to go, get off the train. We're talking. So as we talking, he tell me a story about he trying to get to the doctor. Doctor appointment is at 2 o'clock. So we walking and talking. And he said, you know what, by the way, can you give me a coffee? I said, listen, I could go get you coffee, but you may miss the train going back. You got 20 minutes. I said, if we go there, we just may miss the train and we want you to get to your appointment. So, all right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So he talked, he said, hey, Johnny, because we talked about it. We gave each other names. We greeted each other. And he said, Johnny, hey, do you like music? I said, I love music. He said, what type of music you listen to? I said, I listen to rap, hip hop. Oh man, that's great. That's great. And then he said, oh, cool. He said, you know what type of music I listen to? I said, what? He said, techno rock. He said, yeah, I know it's a little bit crazy. He said, but I like it. He said, Johnny, turn the music up. And I'm saying these things because it reminds me of how appreciative that we have to be. You never know who you may come across, and you don't know how impactful they can be on your life. He doesn't know that he instilled a spirit inside of me that lifted my spirits up and made me think about me reaching his age and being able to be just appreciative of life. He's moving around by himself, issues with his feet, 75% blind, no glasses on, barely could get like to and from. But every day you can see it from that man. He's determined to get to where he need to get to. This is inspired. Our podcast episode today is inspired by Lou, right? Because Lou is still it was a reminder of no matter where you're going out in life, no matter where you're going in life, right? There are going to be hurdles, obstacles, personal things, physical things, environmental things that would try to take you off course. So we said lost without today's topic is lost without coordinates. And it reminds us of, okay, in order to get to where you need to get to, you got to first map out where you're trying to go. And then once you start mapping out where you're trying to go, you have to literally proceed on that path to get there. Ideally, what Lou is doing is Lou is on the path to go to the doctor, and he missed a couple train stops. He has issues with his feet. Um, he's 75% blind. Now, normally, some of these people will look at these things from a standpoint of being a victim, right? Victim of circumstance, victim of life, victim. Not Lou. His spirit spoke of reassurance, confidence, acknowledgement. For him to tell that lady, I love I love your confidence. And then he said, hey, Johnny, turn the music up. And I'm like, the spirit of that man, he don't know how much he impacted me. And when I recite and I revisit how my day went, and I say, yo, what did I do today? Who did I come in contact with? Well, what experiences did I have? What conversations did I have? This will forever live on because Lou impacted and inspired what we're going to be talking about today. That's how much power he had just by having a conversation with me. And those are the things that most people take for granted. You don't know how much your conversation may help another. You may not know how much you just saying hello or having a nice gesture, how that can impact somebody else's life. Here it is. I'm speaking about Lou right now, and we're going to expound about topics geared around how do we navigate to and from. And it's inspired by the young, by an older gentleman having a spirit that he won't be stopped. And I said to myself, all of the barriers I put up in my life that stops me from getting to and from tonight, we could have said, you know what, let's close the book and say we're repeating the same process as we did last week, where something is going on prohibiting us from actually executing on our goal and our mission. So now we going in this world, we trying to be that globe trekker and we trying to get to and from, and we lost without the coordinates. We don't know where to map out. We don't know what to put in place. We don't have our compass out. We don't want to put the work in and actually go out there and execute. So it reminds me of the work that I have to do. Sometimes I was talking to Lizzie earlier, and we was talking about emotions and all these things. And I had to remind myself that no matter what, I have to fulfill my obligation of who I am and what I represent, no matter what. No matter what's going on in the world, there's so many things outside of us that can take us away from who we are and what our mission is, and making sure that we are purposeful. And I was talking, we was just building, and these are the things that remind me of making sure that we in purpose. It's hard for you to be in purpose. It's hard for you to navigate around this world if you are focused on going to somebody else's destination, where somebody else is at on their map. They're going to a different destination. They're driving, traveling, whatever they're doing in order to get them to and from. They're doing that. And we can be the outside person looking and witnessing, but that's not going to get us where we need to go. So ideally, having that in mind, what path are you on? What coordinates do you have mapped out to get you to and from? Are there things in your life that you want to actually go and execute on, but we too distracted because we're watching how somebody else's form of transportation is getting them there. Somebody else may be walking. As Lou's the shuffle, Mr. Shuffle, Lou's shuffling. Somebody else may have all of they strength in their legs. They may be running, jogging. Who knows? But everybody got a path that they on, and they got their own form of transportation. But you got to do what works for you. And this is what we always expound about, making sure that you are in purpose and you're creating it, but utilizing the tools that you have. Some people may have the perfect roadmap and choose to take a detour. Some people have no map at all and choose to say, you know what, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna wander. I'm gonna hold my thumb out and maybe look for a hitchhike. Somebody else say, you know what, I'm just going to the wilderness. Give me my bow and arrow. I'm not going out there and I'm gonna make a way. Some people say, man, I need a spiritual guide. I'm waiting on that spiritual guide. Some other people may say, hey, you know what, I need somebody else to take along with me. Understand that in all of these forms of transportation, the only person that's going to go with you no matter what is you. Because as somebody else are going on their path and they're trying to figure out what's going on in their life, they don't got time to focus on how you getting to and from. So the thing is, ideally, figure out where you are. Know where you are on the map and start mapping out, start tracking the steps on what you're going to do to get you to and from. Understand there may be a bear in the middle of the road. There may be an eagle in the sky trying to swoop down your knapsack. There may be some other hunters in the woods, and they trying to get the same game that you're trying to get, right? So you see that wild, you know, food or whatever that's in the wilderness, they trying to hunt that down. So the competition is, right alongside of you. There's other things that's going on in your life that you just don't know what other people are going through and what they doing in order to get them to and from. But the whole primary thing is making sure that you are focused on the things that you have going on, because ideally it's easy to get distracted. Easy to get distracted. Watching Lou, which is a reassurance of no matter how we get there, it's our path, it's our story, it's our testimony. Sometimes we may have to take the long route. You see other people taking shortcuts. I've took shortcuts before and I got shortcut results. It lasted temporarily. So I understand that the work that I need to do, sometimes people may get the turnarounds faster than I would. Some people may get or acquire the money faster. Some people may get to the highest stages of prestige or be able to expound on their business, their expertise, or their work, or their business acumen, or whatever it may be. Some people may get there faster. Some people haven't reached their pinnacle yet. Some people are still on a path, and they started this 10, 15, 20 years ago. Who knows? We hear those stories all the time. We talk about just using rappers, quote unquote, as an example. 2 Chainz, right? Took him well over being with the Dungeon Family, just playing the back seat. And it took him about 10, 15 years just to get his rise, to actually be known as 2 Chainz before he was Titty Boy and being with the Dungeon Family. Same thing happened to Rick Ross. I mean, I think he was playing this dog, hustling for what few summers continuously, Kept running that song through the mud until he finally got that break. But he been in the game for a long time. Who they say even most millionaires, if you're talking about a dollar amount, they said most people that are millionaires, they don't reach their millionaire status until they well in their 50s, 60s, or something like that. If I'm not, I know 50. I think 50s for sure. But that tells you about how long you are playing your game. So we say I got to get rich next year. Sometimes next year isn't your year. Sometimes the coordinates on the map, you have to follow a different route. Sometimes you got to go over the mountain. Other people may they may swim through the water. Some people say, you know what, I'm gonna get a canoe, get a boat, and I'm gonna go by paddle on boat, and I'm gonna go through versus up and over. Your path may be up and over. Somebody else's path may be going around. Yep, somebody else's path. Hey, well, I'm gonna cut through the water. Who knows? These are the things that we got to be well aware of. That's just when I say these things and using these things as an analogy. But what I mean is that all of these paths, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about how do you get you to and from. I'm talking about your mental faculties. How do you expound on what you want out of life and how you want to get there? Because you choose the form of transportation. Some people may try to expedite that. Some people may try to slow that up and make you, regress a little bit, right? But the thing is, ideally, it's about, okay, what route are you choosing? Some people say I'm gonna choose the long, steady, harder route. Who knows? Some people say, I don't got tomorrow to wait. I need mine today. Who knows? But all of these things work with on individual basis of who you are, what you stand for, and how you want to get there. Sometimes with me, I know when I move fast that time, sometimes I could, get myself knee deep. Some people say go hard and fast, hard and fast. They say, you know what, you can I heard this before from another guy. I can't think of his name, but he said that people said scam, no scheme, right? So people normally stay away from the terminologies of hearing people say scheme and scam. But he said scheme to me sounds like schematic, right? He said in order to spell schematic, you gotta have the word scheme inside of it. So he said when people said about him getting to and from, he said I use the scheme method. I'm always scheming. I'm always looking for something. So normally we associate that word as a not of a term of something you want to, not a term of something that you really want to be proud of. Say I'm a schemer, scammer, right? To each his own. So that's a disclaimer. Whether you do and you use that word as a term of endearment, by all means, do what you do. But what I'm saying is that when people say they scheme, stay scheming, right? Um, Ideally, we're looking at somebody that's on a prowl, on a hunt, that's in a cut. But he said, you know what? I'm using this term to my advantage. I'm using this because I look at scheme in the word of schematic, drawing out, mapping out. So we the ones that give context and the meaning to the things that apply to our lives. Some people could take, but they say you could take sugar to shit. Some people could turn sugar to shit or vice versa, shit to sugar. How crazy is that I said the word and try to bleep it out? See what I mean? See what I mean, right? Crazy, right?
Like to also piggyback off of that,
I'm listening.
when you were saying something about on the borderlines of finding your way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just the example of you seeing Lou, you don't, just that one little moment you had, you learned something from him.
Absolutely.
So it's like you're always learning as you go.
Mm.
And one of the things I always say is, and I used to be the type, and I'm not ashamed of saying it, the I know it all. I know this, I know that,
Yeah.
And one thing, like you said, when you work with a partner and you're a great mentor as a partner, not only are you great as being a partner to me, and it's not only because we're in a relationship, but you want me to grow.
Absolutely.
So one of the things of making me grow was making me realize that, and I was grateful for that, because you have to go into places, yes, even if you do know a little bit, but also be open-minded with not knowing. Because if you go into it of not really knowing, you're going to learn so much more, because so many things could teach you even more, or the things that you thought you knew are totally the opposite, because you're like, holy crap, I see it this way. Like, wait, what? I thought I saw it this way, and it's not this way. It's this way. And when you have the mentality of everything and
Hmm.
not doing enough research and not just going above and beyond, you're not going to grow.
Correct.
You're going to stay settled in one little thing. You might think you're growing, but you're not.
Yep.
Your lack of intelligence is going to stay in the same level because you're not making your brain wonder and look for other resources.
Mm,
And like I said, it's just like you said, exactly like you met Lou today and you learn from him in that little moment.
absolutely.
And like you said, wandering out into the woods, you're going to wander on your own.
Sure.
If you act like you know it all, you're not, like you say, going above hurdles, take the easy way out or take the hard way out. You never know how you can even stop your growth from growing.
So true. Man, that's powerful. I commend you for those words. That was powerful. Where my chimes at? It's for Lizzie, man. Come on, man. That's powerful. You know, settling. You said something very, very important. Settling. A lot of times we settle. I I know when I was the know-it-all, right? Because I went through that phase for oneself as well. I knew it all. Can nobody tell me nothing? Um, what I was hiding from and running from at that point in time in my life was certain levels of insecurities of the things that I didn't know. So, in order for me to compensate for the lack of knowledge that I really thought and the insecurity of me not having the formal education that I thought I needed to have to hold certain types of conversations, to be in certain rooms with certain personnel, to feel like I can hold my own when it comes to um, life experience or intellect. I always felt in order for me to compensate, I had to always know or have done what other people have done or experienced. So when somebody said, "Hey, yo, I went down to Florida. I went to Florida too. Hey, yo, I just came from California. I went to California too. Hey, I went down to y'all just came from there. I done that too. I played this sport. I done everything." So I'm like, wait, hold up. What I started to sound like in other people, they're like, well, you must have went around the world once and slapped everybody's hand twice. How could you possibly have done everything? And of course, there's some people that experience life in that manner to where they just have done a lot in their lives. But what I learned is that I didn't have to have a relatable story to everybody else's story. And you made me think about when you said settling. Um, we uh, just the term itself. You don't want to settle, right? Because you close off different opportunities to oneself. You close off the door for you to actually acquire and gain knowledge. So we really want to be open-minded in this aspect, just to be able to say, hey, I have more room for growth. When you know it all, there's no more room for growth. Because at that point, you always got to defend what you already know. But the thing is that if you constantly defending what you already know, how could you possibly have new information downloaded into your psyche, into your mind, into your brain? There's no more room because you constantly defending what you already know. So you know what's most impactful. What I learned to do is I sit back and I sit and I listen. I act like I don't know nothing. Whether I know something or not, I may not know something else that may be added on to that thing that I already know. Let me explain. I've played this. I played sports before, right? But I haven't played on a college level or a professional level, right? So although I played a particular sport, there's some experiences that other people may have over me because they played on higher levels. So I only know what I know for playing the sport at its basic level. But I may get introduced to new rules, um, different types of equipment, different levels of competition. All of these things will still be new to me, although although I've been already participating in that sport for whatever reason. I already been participating, but there going to be some information that's just unbeknownst to me that I never came across before because I never had the experience. I could watch these things all day, but having someone live and experience it, they can tell me some things that most people may not know playing on that type of level. Maybe the work ethic. I think I work hard, but what if it's a person is working 24/7, 7 days a week and just making sure that they hit in the gym 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever? Who knows? I don't know. So although I know a thing, that still can be um built upon. And that's one of the beautiful things. I listen to my mother, and she says this all the time. My mom says, um, yeah, you did good, but you could do better. There's room for more growth. I know, even for herself, when she set goals for herself, she said, "Yeah, I did good, but I know I could do better." So when I hear that, it makes me not want to settle and get complacent. Like Lizzie was saying, sometimes we could do these things, and our complacency will actually limit our growth. Us being complacent can actually limit our growth, and we won't be able to experience or be able to take in new information that will allow us to get to those next plateaus in our lives. Because lives is about level. I mean, it's about stages. It's about levels. It's about our growth. It's about, okay, I did this yesterday. How do I implement what I already know, and how can I build upon that? Like similar to the terminology when they talk about skill stacking on top of the skill that you already have. Literally, that's what we doing. We literally stacking on top of who we are. Every day you are this personnel, but you can build upon that. Every conversation can be impactful. Every experience can serve you to a greater and higher good if we choose to do that. Or we can sit back and say, well, why me? Why me? Why is everybody targeting me? Why I'm the one that gotta feel like this? Why my emotions is superseding my intellect? Every time somebody say the wrong thing to me, I'm chippy, I'm edgy, and now I want to go out there and meet that personnel or environment or thing with a level of confrontation that may lead me to a place of not learning anything, just for me to being able to get out my frustration because I felt like I was rubbed the wrong way. I told you, I was explaining the stories before when I was seeing a young man, and he's walking. I'm coming from my car, walking, diddy bopping, do my thing, and this big dude walking down the joint, and it's ironic, but just sizing one another up. Nobody wanted to move on the sidewalk, and we walking both on the same side of the sidewalk with a certain level of bravado, about to go head to head, just and having that edginess, saying, "I'm not moving. Who's gonna move first?" And I thought to myself, well, how immature of me, because I always taught if you knew better, you do better. What do that mean? Jay-Z said a line before. He said, when fools arguing from a distance, can't nobody tell who is who. So if you sitting down, you arguing with somebody that's a fool from a distance, they can't tell who's who. Because one person is a fool, other one, quote unquote, may be smarter than a fool, but you stoop down to the fool's level because you're arguing with them. So at that point, both of y'all in the same boat. There's no distinguished difference between the two. So when we say these things, we got to really look at them from that place and say, you know what, if I know to do better, I have to take initiative, because they say that if I have the information and I don't utilize it, it's the same as somebody not having any information at all, because the results are going to be the same. The results are going to be the same. So what that teaches me, and the message that I got from hearing this, is that when I know to do the right thing, no matter what the price it may pay for me emotionally, I still have an obligation to fulfill whatever void is there by executing on what I know to be right. What I know to be right. If I was taught, if I seen, if my experiences led me down this path to say, hey, I have a certain level of knowledge and expertise in this field, and I know right from wrong. Hey, maybe a kid may not know that. Maybe a kid, although we say they should, but for whatever reason, say a kid don't know how it feels to hurt someone, right? Maybe it doesn't register at that moment as of yet, so they feel like they can just hit and say, I'm hurt. And they don't care to just hit until they get plucked. And you're like, ah. Now they know what it feels like. So now that learning curve is that, hey, if I don't want to feel like this, I shouldn't dish this out. That's how we learn. We got to go back to the basic steps of finding, okay, well, what fundamental things. If I want to be better, I have to exercise more of the righteous things to do in and out my life, whether somebody's looking or not. Sometimes we can, nobody looking. Let me put this in my pocket. Maybe tuck this in my shirt. Let me hold up. Ain't nobody looking. There's some money out right. Let me grab. People do a lot of things when people ain't looking. I see this all the time when people think nobody looking. You driving in that car and people digging for gold. You know how many people I see in that car doing this when they think ain't nobody looking, plucking. Man, I can't even tell you. Lizzie, am I right?
You're definitely right. We see
Countless,
disgusting things.
countless, countless amount of people. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that if we knew better, we do better, and we can exercise that. This is part of what we're talking about, finding those coordinates and finding out what works for you. Let me start this off really quick, right? There's a silent frustration that comes with drifting. You're busy, you're moving, maybe even exploring, but deep down, you know you're not building anything. No direction, no structure, just moments passing. We've all experienced this, whether it's scrolling for hours, starting things, not finishing them, chasing temporary feelings instead of long term outcomes. Drifting shows up in different forms. In this episode today, you're going to learn how to recognize if you're drifting, understand why it's happening. More importantly, how to transition into how to transition into someone who moves with intention and purpose. We're breaking down the pros and cons of drifting, exposing hidden traps, and giving you the real frameworks to go from a wanderer to a globe trekker with direction. I love the globe trekker situation, right? There was a British show that I used to watch all the time. The changed host primarily, it was a lady. I can't think of the lady name, but it was a lady, and then it moved over to a gentleman. But I love that show for many reasons. It was called Globe Trekker. It was a British show. I used to watch the show faithfully every day. And what I got out of it, I was so intrigued about other people's lifestyles. I was so intrigued about traveling the world. I love to travel. Um, I love to see different cultures, different experiences, different backgrounds. And what I got a wind of, right? I felt like I was a part. I felt like I was there. And what it incited within me is saying that, you know what? I know that I will have a higher level of respect and understanding of life if I were to travel, because I've seen all of the different cultures. I've seen how that lady just dealt with people, and I just seen how she was able to interact and go around the world, and whether people accepted her or not, she just knew how to be amongst the people. And I thought that was a skill set within itself, something that I always wanted to develop. And this is part what helped me and shape molded me to want to set out with the same premise and mission to say, you know what, I want to experience life, and I want to have what life has to offer. I want to be able to go and connect with people. I want to see their lifestyle. I want to see their culture. I want to be able to respect their culture. I want to have a level of understanding of what unifies us. Because in the world, ideally, we are um, beings that have autonomy over oneself. But the next level of mastering thyself is being able to be amongst the people and being able to connect on a global level, a level that enables you to strengthen purpose, to have a bigger purpose, because now you fit in the midst, you fitting like the missing piece, like a puzzle piece with the whole picture, but you have to be that puzzle piece that fits right within that framework, within that picture. So the thing is that the refinement of you being the best version of yourself and being able to add that to a collective, to a tribe, to a community, the great things you can build in the ecosystem is unfathomable. And I think that these are the things that will connect us and unify us. So when I watch the show, it makes me think about all of those things that I can add to and extract from other people, when the experiences like Lizzie was talking about with Lou, and her experiences with the people that she come in contact with, as well as what people are able to extract from us. Like what my cousin Ty was saying before, And the greatest gift we can give other people is the best version of ourselves. So now when we understand this, that means that okay, I gotta constantly refine. I gotta constantly build. I gotta constantly shape and mold my mind to be the best version of me. So that means that every day I don't take a day off. I take every day as a teachable moment. So I sit down like the fly on the wall, even when I know things. It's a time and place where we be able to expound about what we know, but majority of the time we observers. Watch how things work in nature. Watch how people interact with one another. Watch how different cultures communicate with one another. Watch how they protect one another. I see this all the time. I see groups of different ethnic groups, social groups, just different groups of people that connect by the hip, right? I see how they support one another because they all got a premise and a goal. I watch people of this community, right, do a particular thing. It reminds me of the saying, people like us do things like this, meaning that whatever tribe of people that you associate yourself with, or whoever you be, or whoever you deem yourself to be, amongst your crowd of individuals that you connect with, there's a code of ethics, a code of honor. There's a certain levels of mannerisms that you got to continuously uphold in order to make sure that um that mission is going to be completed, that your goal is going to be met when it in due time. The mission will actually be fulfilled by you guys having a level of understanding when other people, other parties may not know. Because there's some things within that tribe that people just don't understand. That's why everybody's not in that particular tribe. Everybody got different tribes for different reasons. Over here, we sharpen our minds like this. Over here, we sharpen our minds like this. Over here, we build up our bodies like that. Over here, we communicate like this. So when we say levels of respect, what does respect look like? When I see you and you see me, we acknowledge one another. So if you're saying that you respect me, you duck around the corner when you run past me, that doesn't show a sign of respect. So for whatever reason you're trying to dodge me, that doesn't show signs of respect. Because in my world of respect is that when I know somebody and I see that personnel, I got to give that same grace and acknowledgement. How you doing? Him or her, sir? How you doing? Peace, love. Because that's what I want to lead with. Same thing that other people do. Hey, you're in a room full of swimmers, which I do, man. Hey, let's jump in the water. Okay. All right. Do you get your life jacket on? Do you need what it is that we do as swimmers? You got your water cap. You got all these things on. Okay, we going into this environment where we all in this school, whatever. You got your pencil. You ready to sharpen your pencil? You got your books. You got your calculator. You got all those things. You got to be well equipped with the tools. But the peoples of the same tribe, they understand this. So now when you're walking outside your home, are you equipped with the tools that represent you and your family and your tribe the best way? Hey, I know me as a man, sometimes not pointing fingers, but how I walk outside my home matters to me. So I got to make sure that in certain environments, I got to make sure that maybe I'm groomed if I'm able to do such. I got to make sure that I present myself because I don't only represent me. I represent the other people that love and trust within I do. Love and trust me for what I able to offer and what I do. We all are representations of one another. So if I walk outside my house and then I have a relative of mine or a friend, a family member, or whoever, if I know somebody and they cussing like a sailor, and we all know that this person ain't supposed to be cussing like that, and they're a kid, but well, who teaching him or her that? Where did they learn this type of X, Y, and Z from? Okay, something's going on in this ecosystem that we all need to pay attention to. Because if we all represent one another in the same manner, and we know that something needs to be rectified, something needs to be checked. What is the checking system? What is that? What's this terminology I want to use? What is the I thought about this word the other week and I couldn't think of it, and it made me think about it right now. But what is the Lizzie? The word I'm kind of looking for is like when or vetting. That's the word, vetting system. What is the vetting system? Right. Thank you, Lizzie, for that silent. She signaled to me with the intuition, like it's called vetting. I said, I called it. I was like, Shoof, it's called vetting. Yeah. What vetting system do we have in place in order to make sure that we uphold our morals and our beliefs in the correct manner? You know, let's get to it. How you looking over there, Lizzie? Just want to get a check in. How you looking over there?
We're good. We're
Good
good.
morning. We good
Learning,
morning.
learning, and growing.
Learning and growing. That's what it's about. Yes, yes.
You take things as you learn and grow. And I always say it's like reading a book. This is my reading the book because all this information that's coming in, it's feeding your brain.
Absolutely.
So it's like, we're not watching Love and Hip Hop or anything
Yeah.
and feeding our
Nah.
brain garbage. We're
Not at all.
actually feeding our brain knowledge.
Yep. Thought provoking things. I love that.
Hmm.
And that's where this is where we learn together, because there's certain things that you know that I don't know. And I may have a viewpoint on a particular thing, and I may feel that my thing is right, but I'm always a firm proponent and firm believer of challenging your thoughts and your beliefs, because you may come up to like when I see people have debates, right? Healthy debates. I think it's a beautiful thing because you're able
Hmm.
to see different viewpoints. And I forgot where I heard this from, but is from I don't even think the person was a debater, but he says that how he won his debates, he always looks from the perspective of what the other opponent or person, what do they support, and figure out why they support what they support. So I got to know what are they point of contention, what
Hmm.
angles are they taking in order to say that, hey, I believe yes over no, and you got to figure out all the reasons why they say yes. And once you understand all the reasons why they say yes, and you know all the reasons why you say no, you have an advantage because you're able to see this perspective from an angle that most people that are biased and one-sided not able to see. That's like
Right.
similar to taking yourself out of your shoes and say, I'm gonna put myself in someone else's shoes and see how they think. And then when you get to that point, you're able to analyze things a little bit different. And I think that's a great tool. Oh, you do that? I was like, cheese. Yeah, no, no. I just think that's a great thing that we can just add to our arsenal, full of just tools, right? Not just weapons, because weapons can be anything, right? But I think the sharpest weapon is this ultimately. So no matter what, but absolutely being able to think, right? Uh, but yeah, there's so many things that we can add to our toolkits in order to equip us to make sure that we go into the world and being able to fulfill purpose, right? Concept. A drifter moves without direction. A globe trekker explores with intention. They both travel, but only one arrives, right? What are some pros of being a drifter, right? Somebody that just drifts off, their mind just wanders and they don't really know, have no sense of direction. But what are some pros that people may feel like, hey, this is a great thing that I'm a drifter? People may feel like they have freedom from pressure and expectations. They feel like very, very loose. They feel like, hey, I could just go through life and just have this different level of fluidity, and can nobody mess with me because I'm moving formless, shapeless, like water. You know who says that? Shout out to Bruce Lee, man. That's what he says. You feel that fluidity, you be formless, shapeless, like water. Bruce Lee, family. Shout out to Bruce Lee. That's what you feel like when you have that wanderer's mindset. Also, if you're a wanderer, you have an openness to new experiences, right? We talked about being someone that's closed-minded. When you close minded, you don't have that openness to be able to receive. And I think that's important when you have that mindset of being a wanderer in that context. What else is a wanderer able to amass? You say something?
Good with dealing with change.
Dealing with change. That's powerful. Someone that's a wanderer, they able to deal with change. So they're able to flow in any direction, like a nomad,
They
right?
pivot quickly.
They pivot quickly. I like that. I like that. I like that. Powerful.
Full because it's a beautiful feeling to be able to pivot quickly because someone like that's one of the challenges I have. I struggle with change.
Hmm.
And it's like once I'm like it's that thing and that's it. And then when you gotta
Yeah,
change it, it throws me off. And it's just like, oh, wait a minute, what's going
yeah,
on? So I
yeah.
think that's a beautiful thing that they have.
Absolutely. So being stiff and rigid is one of those things that was hindering you in your growth,
Hmm.
say, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. So that's one of the things of when you able to have that level of being able to pivot, when you be able to say, you know, I can adjust. That's powerful. Creates no, you good, you good. Yeah. Now I see what you gotta say. I'm with you. I'm with you.
So they can also it's the freedom of external pressure. So it's like they don't feel like they're peer pressured all the time. Like, oh, okay, you could do that, but I'm not gonna do this. They
Absolutely.
go their own way. Like, oh, okay, you guys can do that. I'm fine.
Absolutely.
Without even thinking twice. You have the
Correct.
freedom of doing that.
Absolutely. It's powerful. Just think about some of the things that oppose that mindset of somebody that's being a wanderer from a negative aspect, right? To switch gears a little bit. What are some of the cons of somebody just being a wanderer, right? They have no measurable progress, meaning that they don't know how to measure their progress because they so loose. So they say, you know what, hey, that doesn't matter. It's all good. We don't have to measure that. We don't have to keep stats. We don't have to keep that data. It's all good. That's one of the cons, right? No measurable progress. A lack of identity and purpose. Sometimes when you're just moving wherever the wind blows, you can be blown in any direction. And then from that point, you don't really have an identity or a purpose at that point because now you're just going wherever the wind blows, right? And that doesn't really give you the navigational tools or that compass to get to and from. What's another thing? We have time leakage, days blurred together. It's like, it's like blase blah, right? Monday is Wednesday, Wednesday is Sunday. Every day is the same. Nothing changes in that aspect. Everything just feels like a blur, right? Time leakage. We let time lapse. We don't have no sense of the time. So we just let time bypass us. But that could feel like a blur. It could feel like Monday's Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, tomato, tomato. Same thing. That's what that feels like. Say that one more time for me.
Low self-confidence.
Low self confidence. That's what that feels like. Having a low self confidence. That right there, man. When you have like when you lack confidence, um, you approach the world from um almost like a pessimistic mindset, right? In the sense of you feel like not so much just negative, but you kind of feel incapable. And I know I've gone through that at various times in my life. I know there's times where I felt like maybe I'm just not good enough or I haven't put enough work in. I haven't done the thing. Hey, I was listening to Myron Golden. He was just saying that, hey, if you learn how to drive a forklift within a month or 2 weeks and you stay on that job for whatever reason, no pun intended, for 20, 30 years, um, you just it didn't require that much more expertise of 30 years of experience of to learn how to drive the forklift. You learned it in 2 weeks or a month, whatever. And then once you mastered it, you got it done already. So a lot of times, um, once we do a thing, if we're not stacking on top of that skill, it just becomes you doing the same routine thing without learning because now it's just built up. It's just a built up habit to where you're able to do that thing and it doesn't require much thought. So, in order to actually propel and move yourself a little bit forward, it's not only being able to do the thing, is that okay, once I learn how to drive the forklift, how do I skill stack on top of that? What other areas can I utilize me driving a forklift? Or where can I take my expertise? Or how can I be able to be innovative in my approach and do something a little bit different or advance or build up something on top of learning how to drive the forklift? Maybe you go from driving a forklift to doing something along with the crane. We talked about this before, right? You're driving a forklift and you say, you know what? I know how these buttons move. I know how certain movements of the what's of the I can't think of the thing what they call it, but you should know the movements of the truck, whatever, right? You know, go back and forth, reverse. You know how to lift the crane up. I mean, you know how to lift up the forklift, tilt it on the side. You know, do a bunch of things, the tips and tricks. But then you step your game up and you know how to do a crane now. Skill stack on top of that. That's what it's about. So you can do a thing and build up a habit of doing it. But then after you master that one skill, how do you stack on top of that another skill to make you that much more efficient? Because sometimes the work that you do don't require 30 years. It may require 2 weeks. But then how do you stretch beyond that 2 weeks? How do you build after you do or initially get that skill set? It's about skill stacking at that point. Made a great point. What's another kind of being somebody that's just a wanderer? Missed opportunities, right? Due to the lack of preparation. Sometimes we don't prepare enough. We say, you know what, I'm just go out there on the whim scale and I'm just wing it and things just happen the way it happens. Whatever happens, happens, right? But you can miss opportunities on that because now preparation is not part of your regular routine. And when you don't prepare for things, sometimes they can really ruin opportunity because of opportunity may present itself, but since you don't have the preparation or don't know how to prepare, you may not be best suited to exercise your expertise in that field because they may need somebody else that may show that they're able to be prepared. How do you show your preparation? You show your preparation by being prepared at all times. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So that means that if you're not doing the work, you're not doing or being in your purpose every day, how can somebody else identify if you're qualified enough to do that job? So whether other people are looking, whether other people think you're qualified or not, you have to be in the game in order to qualify oneself. You got to be qualified enough by showing up that you're able to do the work. You're qualified enough if you do the work every day. Whether somebody say they accept you or not, but you first got to make sure that you qualify yourself. You can't qualify yourself, you sitting on the sidelines. You qualify yourself by doing the work every day. And then you become qualified. So now other people say, oh, that's qualifiable. He's qualifiable, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. So stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's what that looks like. Before we move forward, just take a quick break because I think it's important that we do such. And then we'll be right back. Let's go here. Peace, beloveds. Thank you for tuning in to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and I appreciate your continuous support. Do you know that over 80% of the people that watch our channel aren't subscribed? By subscribing to our channel, you give us the opportunity to bring on more guests to add more value to our channel. To join our growing community, head over to respectfullygreat.com, sign up for our email list to get exclusive updates on empowering blogs, as well as the latest and greatest in Respectfully Great fashion. Once again, it's nothing but big love, and we value your commitment. Yeah, loved ones, that was a great word from my sponsors. As you can see, I got that same drip on, you dig? You feel me? You see what's going on around here, you hear me? Come on, man. Big Respectfully Great in the building. Go to respectfullygreat.com. Copy your latest and greatest in Respectfully Great fashion. Also, we in the kitchen right now. We cooking up. We got some things, some new items that's going to be in production. I went and conversed with my manufacturer today, and they said, "Come on, man, let's get going, man. I've been waiting on you. What you doing, my boy?" I said, "Come on, man. You know, I already got merch on the line." He said, "No, man, we need some of that new. So I said, "I got some of that new coming. You dig?" So right now, we in the building, we cooking up. Me and manufacturer.
Too much info. They
Oh,
gotta,
okay, okay.
they
She
gotta
said,
wait for
she,
it.
she
They
said keep it
gotta
on.
wait for it.
She said keep it on. You know, this is the family right here, so they
They
get
gotta
first dibs.
tune in. That's the
Yeah, they got to
people
tune in.
gotta
Absolutely, got to
tune
tune in. But this is the family, so
in.
everybody. When you're like family, this is what we do when it's family time. The word out there, whoever don't come and tap in, they will never know. So whoever's here and see this in real time, your family, you're able to see what's going on in production. Feel me? So we love you guys for that continuously. We appreciate you. We're gonna keep reiterating that. We appreciate you. Let's go with I can run through this really quick, right? Why do people drift? Some of the causes why people drift and they should go out there. There are causes, there are reasons why people do these things. And I want to highlight them really quick, right? Fear of committing to the wrong path. Sometimes most people say, you know what, I'm not going to attempt this walk, this path, like the long walk. I'm not going to go on this long walk and going down this path because I feel that this is the wrong path. I don't know what it is about this path that caused me to have some fear, some level of not knowing, but I'm going to go on this walk, and I feel like it may be the wrong path, so I think I'm going to avoid it in a whole. That's one of the reasons, or one of the root causes why people tend to drift away from their premise and purpose. Another one is overwhelmed from too many options. Have you had too many options on the plate? Have you had too many things to pick and choose from when there's only one thing that you need to stay focused on? I've been there, right? I've done that. I've been, yeah. Lizzie says she's been there as well. You been there as well?
Definitely have.
Okay, Lizzie says she's been there as well. So we know what that looks like, right? Having too many options. So we got to bring that thing down like this: the small, bite-sizable things. We say, you know what? Hey, now this is I can chew on this, right? I don't like to uh of course, I love to set goals, big goals, right? But you just can't have too many things going on at once. Focus on the one thing, master the one thing, and then we build on top of that, right? We don't just do everything, because if you give everything your attention, you really focus on none. That's why they say, what do you say? Master of trade, master of none. Jack of all trades, a master of none. That's what that looks like. We don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Although I did hear something from this guy. His name was, I think, John Dimone, and he did say something along the lines of being a jack of all trades. But he says that he said what he said. He said that he wanna he wanna he wanna build skills. He wanna build quality. He wanna build He want to build like quality. He want to build quality skills across all domains. Something along those lines of being a jack of all trades. So he kind of leveled it up in the sense of saying, hey, ideally I may go into different fields. When I do go in different fields, I actually want to be good when I'm in that field. So I think a lot of people do some things to say that they have done it. But if you're going and you're going into it with the intentions of actually being skillful and actually have something to offer. I think when you say, okay, across all domains, or all the domains that I um come across, and that I actually put my expertise in, and I actually work those channels, I think that's a beautiful thing when you're able to do that. But sometimes some people just bite off more than they can chew, and it actually slows down their progression, right? It turns to procrastination at that point. And we don't want to be procrastinators. We know that we can consume our time going nowhere fast, doing the thing, and actually getting no progress out of it. We're just doing the thing to say that we've done the thing. We don't want to do that. Um, what about addiction to comfort and distraction? We get very, very comfortable and complacent. We are talking about that earlier. A lot of us get very, very comfortable, and we say, you know what, I do this, I could do this all sleeping. Yeah, do it tomorrow. Does he say you could do it when?
Tomorrow.
Do it
And
tomorrow.
tomorrow becomes tomorrow
It,
again.
yeah, and
And
then
then
tomorrow
tomorrow
again,
becomes later.
later again, and then before you know it, you ain't done a thing. So we haven't done a thing. We just keep putting things off. They said, don't put off tomorrow what you could do today. Don't put off what you could do today for tomorrow. Right? So let's get to it. Just do the thing. This the whole overall perspective in this right here, right? We can shift this. If we say drifting is a laziness, it's often untrained direction. If we have that level of understanding, when you drift, right? Some people say, listen, I'm just a drifter. It's not like I don't want to do the work. It's just that my mind goes to other places. So some people attest it to being lazy. We know that you're not lazy. It's just that you have untrained direction. So you have those coordinates on the map. You don't know how to get there. You don't know whether I should go over the mountain, through the water, or around the mountain. That's where we have to start getting real, real specific on what is your best form of transportation. How do you want to get there? Slow and steady win the race. Quick and fast in a hurry. We need that money on, or the bag, or that, or whatever it is. I need that today. I'm desperate measures. Desperate times cause for desperate measures. What is it hey, I need to get there. Hey, maybe I need to track and pace. But we also know that if you're a drifter, there's nothing measurable. So we know that won't happen if we're a drifter, if you're a wanderer. So we have to eliminate that type of mindset. And how we do that, we start to get laser focused. How do you get laser focused? You start identifying, okay, well, who am I? Where am I? What do I want to get accomplished? And then what you do is you start mapping that out. Yes, we missing out the coordinates, right? We lost without the coordinates. But now that we got the coordinates, how you get the coordinates, you start writing down, okay, where do I ideally want to be at? What are my goals? Who can help me get there? How can I get oneself there? You start asking yourself questions. Questions are your best friends, right? The more quality of question, the more um the best questions that you could come up for oneself along your journey is going to help and guide you, because now that's your compass. That's the coordinates. Those are the things that's on the map that help you get there. Well, where do I want to go? Let's identify that first. Where do you want to go? Ask yourself where you want to go. Okay, what does it look like when you get there? Why do you want to get there? You got to make sure you have a big why. Why do I want to go to this place and do that particular thing? Oh, it affects other people's lives. You want to change other people's lives. Well, why do you want to change their lives? How can you change their lives if you haven't first changed yours? So, are you changing your life to make sure that that can be a feasible thing, accomplishable thing? What steps do I need to do in order to change my life? Okay, hey, I got to be better. Well, how do you be better? How? We keep asking questions. How? Like a little kid, right? You know, when you're younger and the kid say, well, why is the sky blue? You say, because it's blue. But why? Right? Everything else is, but why? They constantly saying, but why? So you got to be like that with oneself. You got to keep asking yourself, well, why? And then once we start writing these things down, those will be the coordinates. Now we have some direction in the compass to say, okay, let's take step one. Now let's start this walk. Let's be that globe trekker. Let's go from being a wanderer and a drifter to actually a globe trekker. And now we're gonna be a goal trekker. We're gonna track our goals. We're gonna get there one step at a time. It's gonna require some traveling. It's gonna require us not to be comfortable and complacent, because us just staying still is not going to allow us to get to and from. We want to stay right here and not move. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. It happens when you say, let's take initiative to go out there and actually put the work in, because that's going to be recognized to show, hey, I'm talking to the universe, and I'm letting the universe conspire to make these things come true. I'm talking to the universe now. The universe is responding to my calling, because now I'm telling the universe what I want. How do I tell the universe what I want? I'm start moving with that same level of intuition, feeling what's in my heart. I'm actually creating purpose at that moment. So what things go, what goes on in your mind and the universe, these things want to make your thoughts a reality. You want to put your thoughts into the real world. So the way we do that is by going out there and start to execute. Go on that path, do that work, do that internal work, build those connections, talk to this personnel, go into that space that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, challenge yourself, do things that may be a little bit difficult, go out there, start that fire in the sense of, you know what, that's the initial spark. Hey, before I be able to hold that torch and start with the little spark, let's go start that fire, get the twigs and rub those twigs together and put that hay on the floor so we can start that little fire. Give it some oxygen, blow on it, right? Fan it. Make sure we start that initial fire. And before you know it, we got a campfire. And now we're able to stay warm. And then now we're able to do that. We mastered that. So now when we going along this journey and it gets a little cold at night. You say, man, I know it's a little cold over here. Start that fire. Cool. I bet. Stay warm, take the shoes off, dry the socks off. Now put those things back on in the morning, double up, get your good protein. Now we back on the mission and we moving. And then another time, you may set up a tent. Okay, listen, we can't stay long, but we got to set up our tent. Set up our tent, do our thing. Oh, now we back on the mission again. And then it's going to require you to constantly camp out at different places. It's going to require you to constantly camp out. But you got to prepare yourself on that journey. Are you equipping yourself with the tools necessary that would allow you to do such? How you equip yourself, asking yourself those questions, and then actually going out there and acquiring the things once you start answering them. Hey, I need to go over here because I need to build up such and such. I need to go meet up with this. I need to go do that. I need to go blah blah blah. Now we putting that legwork in, and now we have some level of direction on where we need to go, and eventually will we get there. But sometimes it may require us to camp out along our journey. Some people say, I just want to sprint and run this whole race. Sometimes it don't work like that. I got a race coming up in 2 months right now that I'm training for, pushing myself. I want to get there. I haven't done it. First time doing it. But in order for me to go out there and actually see what I'm built like, I got to apply myself. Application. So every area of my life, I'm figuring out ways to constantly just push myself. I know there's always room for growth. And this is me finding out, okay, well, what you built like. You never know until you try. So I'm jumping in the water, I'm going to swim. That's the mindset. And going throughout life, I don't know what I'm able to do if I never try and if I never attempt. So my whole goal is constantly attempting the things that may seem far-fetched to even some other people. Man, you're not qualified. I qualify oneself. Whether people think I'm qualified or not, I qualify oneself. I'm in the game. Because now all I need to do is course correct. I can make the adjustments along the way. I can say, man, I walk down this path. I feel like I'm keep making circles. You know, so powerful. We watching this show right now called From. Ain't that right, Lizzie?
Yes.
And I'm not gonna give too much away, but people come in contact with this tree, and they come with this tree in the middle of the road, and the tree leads them to this town. And everybody that's traveling that comes in front of this log that's blocking off the road ends up in this town. When they constantly driving around, they keep driving through the town, keep coming up on the same log, no matter which direction they take.
Circle.
It just keep coming around in the circle. It come right around in the circle. So that reminds me of that same mindset, right? Going around the circles until you understand, hell up. You know what? This is the wrong direction. Let's take another route. You went around 3-4 times, spun the block. And then you say, man, me spinning this block, man, got me dizzy. Me spinning the block, man, got me dizzy, man. Just try a different route. And that's what it's about. You navigating. So everything is not gonna work for everybody. Some people say, you know what, let's I'm climb up the tree. I'm gonna climb up the tree first and just see where I'm at. And they say, yo, you know what, let's go over there. I see the water, the river over that side. They know how to navigate from there. Some people can smell the ocean. They don't even have to climb on the tree. Certain animals can smell the ocean. They smell of salt. Instincts. We don't know what instincts that you had acquired or skill sets or tools that you have in order to get you to and from. It may be those words of wisdom. It may be Lou dropping the gym on me. It may be somebody else that cross your path to help you out. It may be something that you watched on the internet. It may be a baby saying something to you to make you open up your eyes and say, wait, whoa, that's a possibility. Baby may say something to you that instill confidence within oneself, because you look at the fearlessness within them, and you say, man, that baby felt like they could fly. Maybe I need to open my wings and fly. So you don't know where the inspo may come from. Only thing we saying is pay attention to it. Pay attention to that inspo and go out there and execute, because this is where your growth is coming in at. Every day, if we show up and do the work, we be able to execute. No matter how many roadblocks, no matter how many tree logs that's in the middle of the road, no matter how many people say no, you can't, no matter the environment say that you're not qualified, no matter how many things or distractions that are pulling you in every direction, we built now. Now they can't take away the tolerance we built up. Can't nobody take away nothing we built up but ourselves. So every day that we show up, every week that we show up, every time we do a thing, can't nobody take that away from you. And the only thing that do is qualify you. So when opportunity come around, you can take advantage. You know, so funny, right? I met this guy over 10 years ago. Shout out to Khalil. I met this guy over 10 years ago, and he used to work for a shelter. So I bumped into him. He seen me, and I didn't recognize him. He said, I know you. And I'm like, Do you? He looked familiar though. So I'm like, can't remember where I know you from. And then the click, bing, thing went off. Bing. I said, oh, you used to work at the shelter. Yeah, I used to work at the shelter. Blah, 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 blah. Long story short, he said, man, that job was stressful. Blah, 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 blah. Long story short, he does lectures at St. Francis College. And I'm like, the world is very, very small. And I didn't shoot my load, right? I ain't say, yo, but all I'm saying is that I took that as a sign that I'm on the right path. It had nothing to do with me to trying to harp and piggyback off what he do, but it was just another seed that was planted within me. Hey, you going, lecturing, speaking at colleges, at this environment, at corporate events, at this, that, that. It's possible. Because I seen another personnel that was in a different field of expertise at one point or another, and he does lectures at St. Francis twice a week. So if he can do it, planted the seed in my mind that I can. That's the power of every interaction. I learn from every single body because I feel like every person, people, place, a thing that shows up in your life for one reason or another, they planting a seed, and it's for you to figure out, why is this person here? I took an Uber one time to go get a haircut all the way in Suffolk County. The guy get in the car, we talking. Long story short, he had businesses in my town. He driving an Uber now. He said he lost his businesses. Told me the whole thing. The whole premise I got from that story is that fast as it comes, fast as it can go. So you got to be able to equip yourself for the long haul. He said, man, the business just didn't work. He had a business partner, just didn't work out. Business partner wanted to, do some other things and nefarious things that he just wasn't involved in, and it affected the business. Affected the business. As much as he loved them, whatever, he just couldn't do the business no more. The business failed. But the seed that was planted was, hey, the guy was doing business in my own hometown. Business is multiple. So what was the gem of the story? That it's possible, that it can be done, because he have done it. He have done it. He, she, them, whoever. There are people showing up in your life. You got to pay attention while they're there. Some people may be there for the wrong reasons, but they're actually there for the right reason, even if they're the wrong personnel. Because there's something that you need to learn from that person, from that experience, from that environment, from that thing, from that tool, from that opportunity. There's something that you need to learn. Something that you need to learn. So you got to pay attention to it. I know what helped me navigate and get the coordinates right on my map is that every time a people, place, or thing show up in my life, I ask why. Why did Khalil happen just to walk across my path? And why? He could have been, I could have missed him by seconds, moments, and it would have never happened. Why did Lou come across and be actually to be on the same train that I was? They got many carts, long carts. How is he that he's on the same cart 2 seats away from me? Things don't happen like that for no reason. Things like that don't happen for no reason. And I'm just a firm believer in paying attention to these signs and helping me navigate through our life. Some people just come in our life just to plant the seed to say, yo, it's possible. I do this over here. If you want this, hey, it's possible. There's work that you got to be able to put in. Be appreciative. Be thankful. You don't got to be complacent, because we don't be settlers like Lizzie said. We want to be able to move forward. We want to be able to navigate. We want to be that globe trekker. All of these things come full circle. Me watching that show for how many years when I was a kid, it's relevant to today. How crazy is that? Hold on, let's say again. Tell me, Lizzie.
But also, in the midst of everything, you had to pay attention to the people that come in your life to try to take you off track.
That too. Some people there to take you off track, not put you on track. Some people in your life to take you off track. So we got to watch all that. The lump, the log in the middle of the road, just as well as the hobo on the side holding their thumb up. Hey, let me get in your car. Hey, what's up with you, man? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? You don't know why people there. We got to know that you out there with the premise and a purpose, and you're actually executing that. Oh man, we almost at our marker, man. We almost there. Um, let's sum this up like this, right? Um, let's sum this up really quick. Uh, these are some actionary things that we could do, right? These are actionary things before we get up out of here. We could take daily action, right? Simply saying that I'm gonna start my path, I'm gonna start this journey, I'm going to take the walk, I'm gonna take the initial step. Taking action is one thing that we can utilize and start to do today in order to change the trajectory of where we were and where we want to be at. After that, we can take weekly progress, right? Take the data, check in, do audits every week. What's going on with me? Where I'm at? What was my progress like? Where did I step? Did I spin the block 3, 4 times? Where am I going? Just do that weekly. That works. Measure it monthly. Okay, out of this whole month, how much work did I put in? Can I really qualify myself to say that I'm worthy of, being someone that, could be qualifiable? Am I worth that? Look at my progress over the month. Did I put that work in? Only you know that. We could change the word, the terminology, feel like it with scheduled execution. Scheduled. I feel like doing this. How about I schedule that? I feel like doing this. I feel like doing that. I feel like doing this. I feel like doing that. How about I schedule this and now I'm doing it? I have a calendar right here. All right. All my things I got going on my calendar. Hey, this today, about this right here. Hey, Spectrum bill due. This name bill due. I got footnotes. Hey, YouTube subscriptions. Oh, this subscription. Talk about podcast topics, burnout, a bunch of things on here. Haircut appointment, mapped out. A bunch of things mapped out on the here. Uh, Bank of America paid his bill, rent, this, a bunch of things on his map. Scheduled. I feel like paying my rent this month until the lights are off. I feel like going to the haircut and trying to look like a caveman. Hey, you guys. With the Goonies, right? Hey, you guys. The Goonies. I mean, plethora of things, right? Change the feel like it to actually I scheduled this. Let's go with how do you go to here, man? All right. Let's go to almost our closing because we up, right? Um a drifter is like a boat with no anchor and no destination. Every wave determines where it goes. A globe trekker is still in the ocean, but they have a compass, a map, and a destination. They may face the same storms, but they don't lose direction. That's the difference between a drifter and a globe trekker. We prepared. We are prepared. Preparedness. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. When I was in the Who Scout, old tall gentleman from Harlem used to tell me that. Young buck. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. 5 P's. I remember that. The 5 P's. You don't need to have everything figured out, but you do need direction. Because the truth is, if you don't choose where you're going, life will choose for you. And most of the time, it won't be where you want to go or end up. Mm. I don't think there's nothing else to say after that. Is there something else that you would like to say in closing?
No, you actually closed it very well. And I hope people, you know, You don't have to say if this pertains to you or not, but I just hope it's a value. It's a value and a lesson,
Mm-hmm.
and you could take it in the long run.
Yeah, I agree. This message is for anybody who needs it. Disclaimer: if it doesn't apply, let it fly. If it does apply, utilize it. Strengthen the idea. Take the idea, run with it, challenge it. These are the things that we will soon to find out. Um, those seeds that were planted, if they were for you, we'll figure out if those seeds were planted were for you. But we got to be willing to take those steps. I'm super gracious, super thankful. We appreciate everybody that will come in contact with us in due time. We love you, appreciate you. We're gonna have some changes soon. So the live mishaps, don't worry about it. We're gonna fix those kinks. It's about nothing because we're still resilient, right? We learn how to pivot, like Lizzie was saying. We learn how to pivot. We learn how to, although if we do embody some wanderer habits and tendencies, how we turn that into a strength, formless, shapeless, like water. That's how we do that. We take those mindsets and we say, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna move with fluidity. I'm gonna move with some level of being resilient. That's what that looks like. That movement is being resilient, and I think that's what we embody when it comes to some of the mishaps that we have. And I think that right there actually allow us to um, gain some more leverage because now we able to say, hey, I'm not so rigid and stern. If one thing doesn't work, it all crumbles. So it's all about perspective. How do we utilize these mindsets? There's pros and cons to everything. There's always two sides to everything. Two sides of a coin, two sides of a bread, two sides of your brain, left and right. There's two sides to everything. So we got to just pick the one that's going to best suit us. Optimistic mindset, not pessimistic. Yeah, certain things may be a little bit fearful, but that's where the growth is going to happen by challenging ourselves doing the difficult things. So we're going to continue to show up and do that no matter what transpires, no matter what happens. If the lights cut off, if this the service and the Wi-Fi messing up and the Ethernet cable is not working and this is happening, this need updates and blah 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 blah. We experience it, but you know what? We thinkers, so we figured out a solution to that problem. So even if this occurs, we already we beat them to the punch already. We figured out a solution because we sit down, we was able to think together. We love you guys unconditionally. We're gonna thank you again. Tap in. Also, we made a little bit of adjustments on our YouTube channel. So go to podcasts. When you go to the titles, normally or majority of videos show up on live. Sometimes now we're going to be doing pre-recorded as well. Everything may not be in a live session in a live section. So if it's a pre-recorded, it's not going to show up in a live section. So what we did was we put everything under a playlist, which is under the podcast. So when you go to the titles at the top, you say videos, it shows lives, it shows playlists, and then it shows podcasts. Click on podcast, and you have all of the latest episodes from the very first one up into the latest. They will be in the podcast section. So, yeah, go there. If you need some assistance, just tap in, send a text, email, via something. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all this good stuff as well. But any questions, feel free. Comments, please leave them down below because we love to see your perspectives. We thank you again. Great to the moderator, Lizzie. Shout out to Lizzie. Round of applause for Lizzie, man. Round of applause for Lizzie. Round of applause for Lizzie. Absolutely. And yeah, we're out of here. We'll see you next week. Same time, 7 p.m. on for the live. But we got a very, very special gift I will inform you next week. So we'll update you. And yeah, that's it. We out of here. Love you guys.